Hello. I think I am live. The little button in the corner says so. Um, Nancy Cremens, how are you? Hi, Kent. Um, Hi, guys. Hey, Amanda. Oh, Amanda, I'm glad you're here. Hey, everybody. Um, I decided to hop on here today and talk to you all about uh, every single conversation I had today, every single thing. Guys, please say hi in the comments so I know you're here. Um, every single conversation was someone talking about how they don't know what's next in their life and they don't know what they're doing and they don't know where to go and they don't know who to talk to. And why do they feel this way? Why do they have this uncertainty? Why do they feel scared or stuck or clueless? And let me just give you all a little bit of background. Lots of you know me and know that I'm most known for building an employability skills program for schools to teach teenagers how to get ready to create careers and lives for themselves. That's my passion. And I still do that. I still consult for schools and districts. Um, but what I've expanded to do beyond education is help everyone navigate this, because it's tricky. It's hard to know how to build a life. And the rules, even when I taught from 2006 to 2011, the rules to the game of life, as I called them, they're different. They're just totally changed. So all the things that I taught my students, it all needs to be updated. And I'm in this place where people are now seeking me out. Adults are seeking me out and asking me to help them for guidance. And because of that, I've become a coach. I'm a career coach. I'm a life coach for anyone from age 14 to I think 58 is my oldest client. And let me just say hi really quick. Hey, Amanda, guys, stick with me because I know that so many people are going through this right now, and I want to give you some guidance. Um, hey, Sarah and Lorena and Bobby and hi. Oh, Peaceful Con, thank you. Yeah, this is like I'm not kidding. Every single conversation today, something came up that pointed out how everybody feels in flux and stuck. So I wanted to. There's a lot of things that I have been doing myself personally because I'm also in flux. And one of those things is kind of finding my outlet personally and doing the work that I believe in the world. And I've done that through creating this group on Facebook called Amy Carrier's Classroom. Um, Over the last 6 to 8 months, I've also totally pushed myself out of my comfort zone to do things like do live videos and just record videos and put them online. Um, so I've been pushing myself. I've been unsure about a lot of what's happening. My life, my lifestyle is kind of like that. And just before I came on here live, and I found that every time I come on live or I do a video in my classroom, something happens immediately beforehand that is directly relevant to what I'm about to talk about. So I just got a message through LinkedIn because I wrote a little status on LinkedIn that said, hey, do you know that I'm a life and career coach? Contact me. And I got a message from a former colleague of mine who said, pretty much, Amy, it looks like you've figured out a lot of things since Fenway. And Fenway is the school where I built this employability program and taught entrepreneurship and really perfected in my mind and professionally what I believe the model needs to be to teach children the skills that they need to prepare for life after school. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for being here. I would love it if you would just hit share, because what I'm going to say, I really want to help as many people as possible. As a teacher, as a coach, as a guide, that's why I started the virtual classroom. If you'd hit share, that would be awesome. So, here I am. My colleague says it looks like you've figured some things out since Fenway. And it reminded me of another conversation that I had today where I'm actually, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I've created a teaser trailer video because I'm going to start doing interviews as a part of my weekly lessons in my virtual classroom. And I'm going to be interviewing the most influential, powerful, brilliant innovators and leaders that I can find or that I know in my network. And so my former colleague says, it looks like you figured some things out. That conversation reminded me of my conversation with Mohammed Sadiq, who I'm going to be interviewing next week, who's in this video trailer on my page. And it also reminded me of another phone call I had tonight with a friend who's going through her own transition. And she's very much in a place where she keeps getting this nudge to do something, that she doesn't necessarily want to leave her job, but there's something else that's calling her to pay attention. So I was thinking about this and thinking about how, and I've gotten some new clients over the last couple of weeks, thinking about how everybody feels like they're in this time of transition. And for my former colleague to say, oh, it seems like you figured some things out. I have, and I've done it the hard way. For example, I just told my friends tonight that I wish I had known when I left my teaching job and started up my consulting business. I wish I had known to hire a coach. I didn't think of it. I thought, hey, I know how to build a business. I teach entrepreneurship. Surely I can do this. I'll just have a bunch of meetings with people I know, people in my network. And I ended up, I had over $25,000 in cash in the bank that I'd saved up to build this consulting business. Now, that's a pretty impressive savings for a teacher. So I had this cash. I could have hired a coach, but I did not know that you would do something like hiring a coach to help you navigate all of these unknowns and all of the emotional stuff that comes up. I had a meeting yesterday with another former colleague who he's going through a transition, and it just brought up my memories of going from 6 years of being a teacher where there are constantly people in your office, in your face, needing you, to all of a sudden it was completely quiet in my office. And that was a really difficult transition for me to make. Personally, emotionally, I felt lost. I felt alone. I felt like I had no witness for what I was doing. And that's all fine. I had to go through that. But I didn't really have anybody to work with me. So I didn't do a great job setting my goals, setting benchmarks, even recognizing benchmarks. I set up my office. I've got a whiteboard. I did what I thought I needed to do. One of the mistakes I made was build my own website. Don't do that to yourself. It's much easier now than it was in 2011. But hire people, recruit people, ask people for help. Don't try to do everything yourself. And so I made a bunch of mistakes, and I have learned from all of those mistakes, and I use that in my coaching. And it's very fulfilling for me now to work with both adults and youth. My passion is always making sure that teenagers feel supported and are given the rules to the game, the knowledge, the experience, the exposure to the world of work that they need to be successful. That's my passion because I didn't have it as a kid. So here's a clue for you, for all of you. whatever you've struggled through, that was your curriculum to get you where you're meant to be. So for me, the reason I started working in education and creating programs that prepared kids in schools for future careers. Initially, it was technology and education back in 2000, 2001. And then it was career skills and soft skills. And then it was entrepreneurship. These were all things that I needed as a kid that, boom, there you go. That was my curriculum. It set up my career path for me. And then I went into the personal stuff where I didn't have a coach and I didn't have support. And those of you who know me may know that in the process of starting up my consulting business and being excited about getting my vision and my passion and all of my expertise out into the world, I suffered tremendously with my health, and my appendix ruptured and I almost died. And then for 2 years after I almost died, things got worse. So here I was, self-employed, trying to navigate being an innovator, an entrepreneur, a visionary, a voice for change in education. And I was not doing a good job of taking care of my body and loving my body and giving myself the space and the time. So I didn't have a choice but to take time off and not work on the things that I wanted to work on. So I've learned so much from my own struggles, and I use all of that insight and knowledge and suffering and pain to help my clients. And what I started doing today is actually tapping into my network more deeply to learn even more from the people I really admire, which is Mohammed Sadiq. I don't know if you're on. You are! Yay! Hi! I'm going to be talking to Mohammed Sadiq, and I encourage you to follow him. He's amazing. He's brilliant. So I've decided, like, the best thing I can do for my work, for my clients, for everything, is to bring in more amazing people and learn from them. So my conversation with Sadiq today also contained elements of what's just brought me here. To so many conversations today, I couldn't not come on here and have this conversation. So what it really brought up for me, my last conversation tonight really brought up was so many people, most people are in a state of transition and flux right now. And Sadiq actually said something. He said, you see how many people are changing jobs on LinkedIn? And yeah, I've noticed that. It's because there's so much moving. And I'm telling you that so that you know that there's like external data if you need the data. This is my observation from the work that I do also. But beyond that, the friend of mine who I talked with this evening, she's in this place where there's this little voice inside of her that's kind of nagging at her to do something. And that is the voice that I didn't listen to. I did not go find someone. I didn't find a coach. I didn't find guidance. I didn't find anything in 2011 and 2012 when I was starting my consultancy. And guys, we can't do everything ourselves. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm so stubborn. I always thought that I could. But we need each other, and we need help, and we need support, and we need guidance. And if you are one of those people who keeps hearing that voice that's saying you need to start that blog, or you really need to start a business, you've had this idea for 3 years and you think about it every single day, that will not go away. I think it used to be that people could kind of quiet that voice and smush it down and ignore it. And, you know, maybe it would go away, maybe it would pop up later. I feel like it's harder than ever for people to do that. And it's my personal belief that the universe, God, spirit, Allah, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your deeper wisdom, it's all pushing you to go and be and do what you are meant to do, where you're meant to do it, the way you're meant to do it. I feel like there's this great big shuffling happening on the planet, and everybody's kind of being moved here and there and asked to trust themselves and go do that thing that you can't stop thinking about. It's getting harder and harder for people to stay in jobs that don't make them happy, that aren't fulfilling. I'm hearing more and more people who are just want to walk away from, you know, six-figure salaries because they're so unhappy. So, and I just read a statistic today that said that most millennials will pass on $100,000 salary if they think they're going to be unhappy in that job in favor of a $40,000 salary if they know it's going to make them happy. So the message in this, and by the way, I am, as a Gen Xer, I am one of the biggest fans of the millennials. They get a totally bad rap, and I think it's awful. I think it's just wrong. Like, let's stop making enemies out of each other. There's so much that we can always learn from the generations that come after us. And I feel like the millennials are really teaching us collectively. Hey, with all those sirens, how can you not how can you not see the seriousness of my message right now? Trust that there's a reason that there are these millions of souls who are willing to, give up $60,000 and for happiness rather than riches. And I'm seeing that more and more in people my age and older because people need to feel fulfilled. And if you followed me enough in this discussion to agree with me that there is some higher purpose for your existence and there is something guiding you to go where you need to go, then I want to say, please trust that. Please trust yourself. Please find the resources, the mentors, the teachers, the courses, the coaches you need to move through this transition. The world can't afford to lose you. There was a 2-year period of my life where my organs were shut down. I couldn't really function. And I was very much in survival mode. I couldn't work like that. I couldn't have my voice out in the world. I couldn't focus on writing my book. I started it years before this, and now I have to finish it years later. But we need you to listen to your internal guidance, to trust your gut, to not ignore the signs, and to go be in the world where you're needed to be. So my friend tonight, without saying her name or giving away any of her real personal information, I've known her for 15, 13 years, something like that. And she's amazing. She's brilliant. She's powerful. She's an attorney. She's a lawyer. She started her own business. And she, from my perspective, has accomplished so much. And she keeps having this little voice saying, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I know my friend, and I can see a lot. I'm extremely intuitive. My clients benefit from this tremendously. My friends benefit from this. I can see why she's being called to do what she talked to me about tonight. And I can also see that there's an audience waiting for her. She just needs the guidance. She needs to set some goals. She needs someone to, call her regularly and say, hey, are you doing these things that you need to do? And to help give her some courage to, for example, go online and do what I'm doing right now. Go live and show the world her voice. It's something that Sadiq today reinforced, from other conversations that I've had from Rehan, who really pushed me to go online. So if you're getting these signs from other people, if you're getting kind of pushed and encouraged to do something that's outside of your comfort zone and that's asking you to do something that doesn't quite align with your plan, and hey, this is coming from someone who's an organizer and a planner and a list maker, those are all tremendous tools for you to make, but you have to be willing to write the list and set it aside. Write the goals and set them aside. And I say to my clients, look, if I give you the assignment of making your 5-year plan, spend 10 minutes on it. Set it down, walk away. Because your initial insight, the initial things that you write down are what's there, what's trying to come out. It's like your brain dump, or it's just like, it just needs to get out of you. Beyond that, you get too stuck in your mind. You get too rational. You might start thinking, well, I can't do that, so I'm going to go edit what I just wrote. And you can't do that with your goals. You need your goals to be high level, long term. This is where I want to go. This is what I'm passionate about doing. Here are a couple of benchmarks I'll set for myself. But take that document or that page in your journal and set it aside and walk away. Because you have to trust that you are smart enough to pay attention to the signs and the opportunities that show up on your path. And you'll take advantage of those things. If you can hear this, that's my cat. He's lonely because he's on the other side of the door. It's not a crying child. So I'm saying to you all, trust yourself, take the risk, know that you're not blocked. I mean, I can't tell you the number of years that I spent feeling blocked. And I was literally physically blocked. I couldn't walk. I couldn't really leave my house. I couldn't get out of my bed. That blocked me, like literally blocked me. You can't have the energy and the insight and the passion to build something from that perspective. So I was literally blocked in order to pay attention to me, my body, my self-care. But beyond that, there have been other times, we hear about writer's block. Well, there are blocks that happen all the time. And sometimes the blocks are because you need to focus on something else, not that thing. So those of us who are a little control freakish, or, we just can work through a tornado because we're on deadline or because it has to get done. It's the hardest for us sometimes to let go and to walk away from something. But if you're really receiving the message that I need to give myself a break here, take the break. There's a reason that it's happening. And if you're feeling blocked, it could be because you're not supposed to do that thing right now. It could be that there's another opportunity that's right around the corner. If you'll take a break, listen to your intuition, check your email, check your, those message requests on Facebook that you might never see. Look for opportunities that are trying to find you that you might not see because you're so hyper-focused on what you're doing right now. So some of this is trusting in a little bit of magic in the universe, which exists. I used to be the biggest skeptic, and I actually decided to keep a journal with magic and miracles that happened to me because I would never believe them. So I finally said, okay, I'm in a moment where something magical is happening. I'm going to write this in my journal so that I don't forget. And my journal, which is full, has taught me what I'm teaching to you guys right now, what I'm talking about, which is about trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, trusting that there's a reason for the things that are happening to you right now, and not fearing what's happening, what you're going through. It might be scary. In fact, it probably is scary, and that's okay. Let yourself feel the fear. There's a fantastic book called Who Moved My Cheese? It's this little tiny skinny book that's so easy. You can read it in like an hour. And it asks you to face the fear and do it anyway. And if you're looking for any little tiny thing that you can download or buy right now that will help you to get through whatever fear you're having right now, get that funny little book, Who Moved My Cheese? And that's pretty much what I wanted to say to you guys. Thank you for being here. There's been a number of you who've been here, and thank you guys so much. So I'm kind of curious. I'm happy to hang out. I said that I would do this. I decided at like 6 o'clock I was going to do this, and I said I'll wait till people get home after traffic dies down and let them be not on their phones. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions, I'm happy to chit chat. I can look at these comments here. Let me just say this first. I hope that this is helpful. Because my former colleague said to me, Amy, it seems like you've got these things figured out, and all these other signs that I received today. I knew that I had to come on here. I knew that, maybe one person would see some part of what I'm doing right now, and they would hear something that they needed to hear. I know that that's how it works. So thank you all for tuning in, for listening, and for trusting yourself as you go through this process. And for some reason this week, I just feel the energy in everybody I'm connecting with or working with or talking to. It's very tense. People are struggling. They're having a hard time. So you're okay. You're okay. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through it, and you will get through this. And yeah, so let me see if you've got some questions here. Hey, Amy Biskovich says, but that all entails being labeled a rebel. Oh, girl, yes, I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel and then some. The nice word is disruptor. So I'm a disruptor in education. That's what I have been able to use as a term. Those of us who are innovators and entrepreneurs, it's kind of a source of pride to say I'm a disruptor in my field. Steph Palmero says that she loves Who Moved My Cheese. Hassan Arshad, feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah, Hassan, if you can, get your hands on that book or download it or something. Trevor Verana, how are you? Oh, Trevor. Trevor was a student in my classroom. He's such like a ball of light. He was so sweet. My cat keeps trying to get in. Trevor says, before we try, we've mentally limited ourselves in trying to achieve what's next. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why I said that the example with setting your 5-year goals, just 10 minutes, no more. Write them down, boom, walk away. That's it. Because otherwise you'll get into your head, you'll rationalize, you'll talk yourself out of things. Totally. Hey, Peaceful Con, thank you. I'm glad it's helpful. Yes, always listen to your instincts. Aw, Alex says, I think it helps many, Amy. Thank you. I think you're talking in general, that I'm helping many. If not, hopefully something I said helps people. Ibrahim Al-Mahohi, hi from Syria. How are you? Are you my new friend from Syria that I connected with? Steph Palmero says, the most influential history. Yes, people were all rebels. Guys, hold on. I'm going to let my cat in so he stops crying. Yeah, I know. I know. The whole world heard how unhappy you were out there. So I think, hey, Gareth, how are you? Let's see if there are some other comments up there. It's, oh, hello from Nepal. Hi, how are you? Jairam Adhikari, hi. I don't know who's still here. Oh, Tanya Singh, my old soul sister from Singapore. How are you? Oh, Tanya, I have to see you one of these days. I just have to. Oh, Trevor, you're so sweet. He said I'm amazing. You are amazing, Trevor. Okay, yeah, it's just a bunch of showing me who tuned in at some point. So, my cat needs a hug. You know what, Amy? Come here. This is Mulligan. I call him Monkey. He's 18 and a half years old, and he's meowed like this forever. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just very loud. He has lots to say. And he hates being alone. Hates it. So he must have just woken up from his nap and he couldn't find me and my door was shut. So he had to make sure that he could come find me. So you guys can say hi to Monkey. I see a bunch of hearts. Maybe they're for Monkey. Do you feel better now? You're not alone. Nobody likes to be alone, right? Okay, down you go. So thank you guys. Ibrahim says, give me... Oh, Monkey's photo? You'll draw my cat? Really? Ibrahim, send me a message. I'll send you. He's a beautiful cat. He's black, so you can't see him at night very well. He's very, very handsome. He has a fan club. Several times people have suggested that he should have a Facebook page. In fact, the woman that I talked to tonight, she heard him meow, and she said, "Is that Monkey?" And my mind kind of dialed back. I've not seen her in, I think, 8 years, but she still remembers him. Everybody knows him, obviously. He doesn't. He's not just shying away in the world. So thank you, Ibrahim. I would love for you to draw my cat. That's great. Oh, you guys are so awesome. There's so many comments here. Peaceful Khan said hi to my cat. Meow. Noor Ahmed Deher says because they lack belief in themselves. Yeah. And self-belief is everything. It's true. So those of you, this is just on my personal page, but there's a video on my Monkey! You can't, sometimes you just can't quiet him. What breed? So he's part Maine Coon, and Maine Coon cats have this long fur, which he has. They tend to be really big. He's not that big. But Maine Coons have this like blood-curdling meow. So he has that blood in him. That's why he sounds like that. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, I do a live lesson every Monday in my virtual classroom, and this past Monday's lesson is still available. I actually broadcasted it on Rehan Alawalla's page so that his followers could get this message, because when he and I do our weekly show on Fridays, which is how to start your business, there's so many people who say or demonstrate that they lack self-esteem. And so the lesson I did on Monday is about self-confidence and self-esteem and self-love and how you can get there. So I recommend watching that to anyone who's interested. And yeah, Nora, I think you're totally right. Really, there's the lack of self-love is at the root of so many problems that people have. And it's really like, it's nobody's fault, because we've grown up in these families where parents and teachers and cultures have taught us to give our power away to other people. When we were kids, we had to defer to our parents. When we were in school, we had to defer to the teachers. When we grow up and we become adults, we defer on some level to the government's authority and to the authority of the businesses that we work for. But it's gotten twisted and unhealthy because people have wound up not believing in themselves. And you and I are now here at a time of great shift and change and growth on planet Earth in our human family. And we are here to lead that change. So we change the future by learning how to believe in ourselves and have self-confidence. That's my belief. That's what I teach. That's what I help my clients to do. Let's see what else is here. Self-belief is everything. Yeah. Oh, Ibrahim, you want to draw me also? That's adorable. Thank you. Hey, Janine, how are you? So, thank you guys for listening, for tuning in. I've been on here a little over a half hour, which that's kind of my cutoff, I think, for the night. But I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you for the hearts. And if it has been helpful for you, why don't you share it with your friends and help other people, because lots of people are feeling this way, feeling stuck right now. So pay it forward. And even if that's your fear, I used to have, can't believe the ridiculous fears I used to have. It used to be hard for me to share stuff on Facebook. It's my Facebook. I'm the authority, literally, of my Facebook. So why would I have a fear about sharing something? But I did. And it was largely more spiritual guidance, videos or teachers that I would learn from, I would share to just a few people. And I finally got to this point where I'm like, okay, this is just my truth. And it doesn't really matter to me who agrees or disagrees. So I stopped having the fear. Stopped having the fear of doing videos. Stopped having the fear of talking about my personal challenges and my past. Because ultimately, everything we go through, there's the potential that it helps someone else. And like I said earlier, if you went through it, it's your curriculum. It's setting you up to do what you're here to do. So it's literally meant to help other people. So please share. Please tell your truth. Please tell your story. And I've been thinking about how I'm going to do the same thing myself. So you'll probably see more videos like this. Thank you guys so much. I think I need to go cuddle with him. Amy, thanks for sticking in here the whole time and sharing all your comments. That which doesn't break you makes you stronger. That's right. And even if it does break you, like I now have to walk with a cane. It doesn't, I might walk funny, but it doesn't change who I am and what I know and how I can help people. It just means I need to use an elevator and I take a long time to walk upstairs. That's the only difference. Noor says, now I believe and I think I'm sure because I believe in myself. That's great. I have less fear because I don't fear being homeless. That's good. The less fear I have, the more openness I have. You are so correct, my friend. Yeah, you're opening your wings. Oh, Noor, I think you should be a poet. That's beautiful what you just wrote. Hey, aw. Amy says, but it's give and take. It made me think different. Oh, yeah. Made me see everything differently. Someone just asked me the other day if I'm going to be returning to Kenya, because I immediately after I left my teaching job, I went to work in Kenya. And I loved it, and it changed everything. It set the tone for me to build what I wanted to build in the world. Ironically, wasn't ironic that I wanted to go fix everything in Kenya and fix everything here at the same time. And I came home and I realized I can't do that. So ironically, going to Kenya taught me that I wanted to focus on improving education here in the United States. Because I came home, I went to an event, and it was in a high-rise building here in Boston. And I knew that there were so many kids living in poverty outside of that building, just as I saw in Kenya, in Nairobi, and Mombasa, everywhere I traveled in the country. So it, ironically, going to Kenya showed me that my work needed to start here in the United States. Now my work is totally global again. You can't stop me from helping every child in the world if I can. Hey, Larry Anderson, how are you? Guys, thank you so much. I've just been lingering on here just to catch your last comments. So thank you. I hope everybody has a really good night. I hope everyone is doing well. And thank you for tuning in to my chit chat and my conversation. Thank you for making it interactive. That always helps. All right, guys, I hope everyone's well. You're welcome to message me if you would like. I'll check my message requests later tonight also. All right, have a great night. Take care. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. Okay? Bye-bye.